You. Hello, Mr. Pelican.
Mate, this visibility is one of the best I've seen here.
They call you a pelican because your beak can hold more than your belly can.
Socks on already? Put your socks on because you've been about to freeze.
Welcome back, frothers. Hope you're ready to get moist down south with us again. The second ever video. First one wasn't complete rubbish, so I thought we'd do another one. We're heading out with Captain Brown on Freefall out of Jervis Bay. We're going to chase some new territory and explore some new ground. Gorgeous conditions, and run up this coastline is just punctuated by these beautiful waterfalls coming off the cliffs. Amazing stuff even without the fish. We headed a fair way north and thought we'd hit some offshore reef, and got onto this point here and started to do a few drops. The shallowest bits we found were about 12 metres and sort of dropped off out to over 25, I think, in spots here. Well out of my depth. This is me on my second drop. I'm not really warmed up. It takes me a few dives to get in a good position. And this one was down at about 12 to 14 metres. Popped down on the bottom and it's cold. It's like low 16 degrees. It's pretty green. Not a lot of bait around. We were hoping to see some kingfish. And bang! Right on target. There's one now. Nice big fat model. And this was well over the metre mark. Would have beat my PB by a mile. Threw in a few grunts to try and turn him around, but he just didn't want to have a bar of it, and he disappeared off into that green muck. And that's me out of breath. About a minute on my second dive. I'm pretty short on those early dives. So head back up to get another breathe up, and pretty inspired to find some more. Good buddy Luke here, much better diver than me, heads down over the 18 mark, probably heading down towards 20 metres. A few minutes later he comes up, and what a stud boarfish. Now, this is the first one I've seen, and it was a cracker. They're not a common catch on the South Coast, and it was bloody wonderful to see. He was over the moon and threw that straight in the esky.
Are you going?
It's cold water, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a few nice expletives there. The old Aussie slang giving each other encouragement, and it was bloody cold. Like we said, it was down in the low 16s and much colder than I'm used to, and even in a 5 mil I was shivering away. We're chucking out the old throw flasher, dropping down again. This is in that, for me, it's that 12 to 16 metre range on these dives. We're just getting into some greens here, and very cool to see big pack of grey nurse sharks down here. The vis is pretty terrible. You can't see them easily, but there was a bunch of them here. You see them disappearing up into those caves and just cruising around. There's some really big models. Again, no bait around, nothing really coming in on the flasher, and no kingfish. I did a few more drops around this area and just couldn't find another king. And to be honest, guys, the only king I saw for the day was that one on the second drop. It would have been a great fish, but it just didn't give me a shot. We decided to do a few more drops on this reef, hoping that eventually, the tide would turn, so to speak, and the kingies would turn up, but it just wasn't to be the case. And after seeing Luke shoot that nice boarfish, I was pretty keen just to pull the trigger on something, and thought I'd go down and do a bit of a spetto, which is much more suited to me, and just get on the bottom and just chill out and see what I can bring in. Throw a couple of grunts out and scratch around a little bit maybe. Now, out in the distance, I see this nice little female eastern king wrasse. They're pretty tasty, soft, flaky flesh, nice and light. They kept coming in and having a look at me. I was umming and ahhing about it. I didn't really have the bloodlust, but I do like to eat them, and I did want to pull the trigger. And I just thought to myself, look, if it doesn't disappear, I'm probably going to ping it. So I do, but right as I go for the shot, this fish just swims straight in front of my eyes. I still pulled the trigger, but what was going to be a perfect stone shot, in my mind, turned out to be a bit of a hit through the gills and lets him swim around a bit. So anyway, pull him up to the top and get a quick icky into him and get him onto the boat is the plan. Now, this is a female, and it's much duller than the males. The males are spectacular, and later on in the video, I'll show you a much bigger male model in a different spot.
Wrasse, but just to get something on the boat. Thanks, mate.
By this time, we're all frozen, sick of the poor viz and the green water. So we headed out wide, chased some blue water. The temp went up about a degree and a half, and the water was just proper blue here, 25 metres viz. This is deep dive Captain Brown, just bombing off down well over the 20 metre mark, I think, here. And he disappears down deep. We all had a few dives, but he was exploring the deeper stuff off the edges. Heaps of current running here. He comes up. We all had high expectations, hoping he'd seen a bunch of big fish down there, some big kingies. But alas, donuts. And we just decided, look, it's getting too hard out here in this deep water, so we'll go and see what else we could find. We shot about a K or so down the coast, and geez, we were rewarded. Straight into water that was pushing out to 20 metres viz, and it was just beautiful stuff here. It's so clear that it actually makes it look really shallow. Some beautiful big swim throughs, like some of these caves here under these rocks are, 10, 15 metres long. Some of them a bit shorter. The long ones are a bit too scary for me. I'm still a bit of a noob, and I don't like running through a 10 metre long cave. But, having a bit of a look around, a few staples around, some black drummer start coming in. Couple of big goatfish here just on these first drops, and we just thought we'd have a poke around on these relatively shallower reef areas and see if we can get a bit of a feed. Now again, this water, this viz is just fantastic. It would look tropical if it wasn't only 17 degrees, 17 and a half about here. See this cool animal, so I drop down, sneak over the edge of the cliff and just sort of give him a little bit of a wave and see if I can bring him in. And old Timmy the turtle swims up, has a good chat with me, realises I'm probably not the friendliest thing in the ocean, and he disappears. Mate, that was super cool. That was super cool for the South Coast in winter. Floating around in this clear water, and this mega school of drummer comes in. It's pretty unusual to see them in such big numbers of such big fish in open water. They're normally up in the wash. And I think these were actually being rallied up by some dolphins or something, so I can hear them clicking away in the background. Anyway, I drop down. I'm going to have a look at these, and there's some great fish. Now, the key here is it's really easy to see a school of fish and actually miss them because there's too many. You've got to spend some time. In this case, I look for a nice big one. I'm happy to change my shot as I go to, but I really do want to look for one fish. Don't look at the school. That's a defense mechanism. You pick out your single, bang, put a nice clean shot in, a standard drummer straight into a cave. So I run over, try and grab that spear, get the shooting line off before I swim up to the top. Really nice fish, a couple of kilos or so. Super tasty, white flesh. This will be lovely. I'll dry age this one when I get home. Standard practice. Get a quick icky into him, kill that fish, and we'll get it on the boat and onto ice as quickly as possible. Definitely not my best shot. I really do prefer to shoot these up in the head, and I'll probably lose a little bit of the fillet on that one, just because it was a little bit back behind the gills. Did a few more drops. Wasn't really chasing crays or abs, but I thought I'd just have a look in a couple of caves. And the terrain was just so cool, and with this great viz, it was honestly just good to be out there diving, except for the fact that I was shivering, because I'm not very good with the cold. Anyway, really cool little run along here, and a little bit of a shark alley. Bunch of Port Jackson sharks sleeping there. Really big fat wobbegong. Geez, she was a big dog, this one. And yeah, pretty cool to see. Yeah, it hadn't been a particularly fishy day. The water temps, as I said, had been bouncing around from sort of low 16s up in that green stuff to probably a high here of about 17.5 in this clear water. And I was pretty cold. 2-year-old 5mm that's actually compressed up way more than I expected. So, it didn't have much left in me. But swimming back towards the boat, so getting ready to finish up now, and just dropped down on these eastern pomfret. And there's this really nice male king wrasse out there. Now, this is a long shot, but the 110 Rob Allen roller with the double wrap, it's really capable of actually pinging that fish out there. But on the way down, I'd seen it sort of in a bit of a courting behaviour with another wrasse, a female, and you know, I just didn't want to shoot it. Again, I had one in the boat, and you know, pinging a fish that could be in a mating ritual is just not my thing. So left that one be, and you know, it was just good to see it. Now, frothers, I hate to disappoint you, but there's going to be no more kill shots for this video, so if you want to log out early, feel free to. All we've got here is some nice visuals, just swimming along, and again, these eastern pomfret, they are spectacular when they're in big schools like this. And I just wanted to get some footage of it. These really iridescent, you know, yellows and flashing silver sides. I just wanted to drop down and just enjoy watching this school. It was a really lovely way to sort of wrap up this dive, just enjoying a bit of nature instead of putting it on the table all the time. But look, like I said, I'm pretty bloody cold by this time. I think a few of the harder boys are even starting to feel it. So I reckon it's time for us to head back to the boat and get on into shore. Yep, it's unanimous. Time to get out. Even with this beautiful viz, there's only so much you can tolerate. We've been out most of the day. Importantly, we sort of unload our guns on the way back in. I always like to throw a rubber over the end of my spear because I can be a clumsy bugger when I'm throwing stuff into the boat. And yeah, she's a quick paddle back in before we head in. Now, Captain Brown on Freefall here, just punching us in at around 30, 35 knots here. I think that's what he's doing anyway. It felt like it to me, that's for sure. It's a lovely spearfishing boat, great platform, and a good captain. Anyway, frothers, thanks for watching another one. I'll get a new video up soon with a bunch of crays and a few abs as well. See you then.